Right, so we're back onto this 200 TDI again. I got all my bits back from Claude at the machine shop, but there was something really interesting that he found that I missed, the owner missed, and I don't know what happened. But can you see down here? See there? That's a piece of glow plug that was stuck in the head. It must have snapped off, but it wasn't protruding through the head like they usually do. So I think it got stuck halfway in and halfway out. I've never seen that before. But anyway, I'm going to show you the bits and why we did it. So we'll carefully cut this off. Blunt my knife. There you see. That's it. So Claude at the machine shop's got a milling machine, and he's also got a tool to take these pins out. I don't know how he does it, but he's got one. It must be a magnet, or he pulls them out with his teeth. Anyway, it's a beautiful finish. It's oiled up and it's ready to go. So we're going to put that to one side, and in a minute we'll have a look at this head. You can probably see, if I zoom in a bit, there's numbers on these valves, and it's most important when you're doing a job like this. If you machine the face, and a lot of people say, oh, you can't machine them. You can, but you've got to machine the seats down so that they're at the right height. All right, it's very important, because you don't want the valves to protrude too far and hit the pistons. A lot of people say, well, we'll just put a thick gasket on, but that's not the right way to do it. Anyway, the machine shop, they took all the valves out and they resurfaced them like that, and they also resurfaced the seat, so they are good to go. Now, why didn't I resurface them? There's no point. They've got all the machines and do it quicker than I can. And again, they got it back next day, so that was kind of good. So that's today's job. We're going to put all these in, put the springs on. Hopefully we can get this head sorted out. But I think we've done cylinder heads hundreds of times, but this was already stripped down by, was it, did I strip it down? I can't remember now. But anyway, one thing you've got to remember, we've put a little bit of oil on these guides. These guides were perfect. They got a little bit rusty because it's been in the vapor blaster. Oh, that was a long time ago, but anyway, it's done now. But one thing you've got to remember is to put these little steel seats on the valves, because under the springs, because if not, what will happen is that the spring can eat through the aluminium. This is not good. So just make sure they're all in. There we go, they're all in. And then we're going to put the guides in. Not the guides, what am I talking about? We're going to put the seals in. We've got some OEM seals here. Made in UK, bloody hell, put them on the shelf. So we're just going to push them on. If they will, no, we're going to have to tap them on, and that's a good sign. Some of these aftermarket ones, you can just push on. It's not a good thing. So we get a long, deep socket and push them on. Oops, get on the right way around and put them on. What do they give you? They give you a packet of 10. Why not a packet of 8? Must think you're going to make a mess of them. Right, that's them on. Let's go and find a little socket so we can tap these on. There we go, socket, perfect. It's not catching on the rubber or anything like that, so that's good. So we'll just tap them down. When you hear it go ring nice like that, you know they're down. If they push on with your fingers, they're no good. Did I just do that? Yeah. They're no good if they just push on. I've seen many of these TDI heads, and you'll find that once you take the spring off, the oil seal's right at the top, which means it's not doing anything. In fact, it acts like a pump. It sticks on top of the valve and pushes oil down, which is not good. Springs. I'm using the old springs. Why? Why not put new ones on, mate? Because these measured up nice, and I have had in the past some trouble with springs breaking, new springs breaking. They're not up to spec, cause a lot of damage. Drop a valve in your engine, it's good night Vienna. Not good. Next, the caps. Look at this for efficiency, 2 at a time. Brilliant, eh? Now, what I'm going to do is, I've got all the collets in here. I'm going to go across and I'll put these in with my drill press. It's a bit difficult to film, but I'll show you the tool I use. I've made several over the years, and all they are big washers onto bolts. So there's number 1. That was one that I used on conjunction with my old valve spring compressors. I could use it on the bench. But I think this was one of the best ones, an old spanner cut down and welded, because then you can get access to put your collets in. Think about that. And it's an old spanner, probably old Whitworth one that nobody ever uses. Right, let me go and put the collets in, and then we'll have a look and see what else we can do to this. You might have observed down here, this is where we had the bolt snapped. One of these little bolts snapped off in there, and I think he was saying that this is where Claude was saying this is where the tang of that electrode was for the glow plug. So whether it's all in conjunction, I don't know. Maybe something's been going on here in the past. Anyway, JP made me an insert. He tapped this out on his milling machine, and then he made an insert, screwed it in, Loctited it in. So now when we put those in, it's going to be nice and strong and nice and tight. So we salvaged that head. Now the thing about these 200 TDI heads, they are like chicken's teeth to find today. They're very, very hard to find. The 300 TDIs, you can get aftermarket heads from China and Spain, but they never picked up on the 200 TDI heads. And I think that's because it had such a short production year of around about 5 years. You know, once they were gone, but the 300 TDIs, they made millions and millions and billions of them. Well, no, perhaps not billions, but they made an awful lot of them. And so there was a market for them. But I know a lot of people get these heads and they put, when these heads have cracked, they put 300 TDI heads on, but it's a lot of work because you need rocker shafts, you need valve cover, you need injectors, pipes, and all sorts of manner and means of things to go into it. When you think, well, you've taken everything off a 300 TDI engine to put on this 200, why not just put a 300 TDI engine in? Be done with it. I don't know. Anyway, I'll never know the secret of that black magic box. Right, that's the valves in. We give them a little... Oh, look, I play a tune. Make sure they're not going to pop out, make sure they're nice. That tool I had, where have I put it? Oh, this one here. This is perfect. You know, you can get into there, whereas this one was just a little bit fiddly because you can't quite get in, whereas this one you can turn it around. I'll just blow my own trumpet on that one. So now what we're going to do, we're going to start to assemble this head as much as we can on the bench. We've got a bag of bits and we're going to fit them on. We're going to put these in, these standoffs. I'm going to put a little bit of Loctite on them so it's very difficult for somebody else to take them off. And we'll put those in. You can see we've got 2 nuts on there. We'll lock 2 nuts together so they go on nice. I'll go and get another spanner and we'll put the full set in. Now, as you know, I'm building up this cylinder head here, and I'll just put a little insert in because when we build up heads and things, whatever it is, we want the best finish on our nuts and bolts so they're going to last. The thing is, one of these standoffs here with the gold anodizing was missing. So I had one in a head here, a spare one I took out. And this time I used this Walter, it's zinc 100, and this is a bright galvanizing spray. Now the stuff I used to use before was this stuff. This is, because this can was empty, zinc 200. Now look at that, it just looks like a factory finish. You know, it looks really good, doesn't it? So that's the stuff for me from now on. I think they really look good. I mean, not that you actually see this, you know, once it's in, you don't really see them, but it's nice to make things look presentable. Because like I said, there's a clamp goes over there. And that's that. So I just thought I'd throw that in. Now I'm going to start on the thermostat housing. Where's the other bit gone? Here. Looking a bit sad. We'll clean it up. It is in good condition. But now's the time to fit it, because you can get at it down here. Sometimes on the 300 TDIs they were a bit of a nightmare. Now how do you clean up bits of gasket like that that's on there? Wire brush in a drill, that's all it needs. You get the worst of it with a knife, naturally, you know, but not on the head you're actually working on. You can get most of it off with a knife, but it is a pain. So what I do is I just put it in the wire brush and wire brush it off. Well, this is really stubborn, so that's going to be nice and flat now. Good tip, isn't it? Right, let's put that through the wet bead blaster. Let's check these faces here, make sure these are nice and flat. Don't want them leaking, do you? That's alright, just a few stains. You can't feel them with your fingers, so that's alright. Let's have a look at this face here. Again, be careful of all these dust aluminium and all sorts of things you've got going on here. Don't breathe it in. Spoil you there. Ah, that's alright, nice. So let's get that cleaned up. Stop. Well, I've been cleaning up some bits and pieces. There's the housing. There's the top, all nicely clean inside. I used some of that galvanised spray on this steel pipe just to preserve it a bit. It looks nice. What else can I tell you? Yeah, it's like Aladdin, isn't it? New lamps for old. I heard Elton John liked to have Aladdin. Anyway, so now we're going to assemble all this. We've got a new thermostat here. Well, it's a Chinese one, but it's better than this one, because if I can turn this slowly, you can see the black seal. It's perished, so that's kaput. These thermostats do double up as 300 TDI thermostats. In other words, you don't need the ring on it. So we pop that in like that. Now on the gasket, I think we'll put a little bit of Hylamar. Right then, so let's assemble this. I've already put a brand new temperature sender in there. Got some Hylamar on the gasket. Now I've got the bolts here. You can see what a difference they are with a bit of galvanised spray on them. Now I'm going to just brush a little bit of copper slip on these bolts, because if anybody's had a go at these before, they do tend to seize into the housing. A little bit of thread guard on them, especially around the shaft at the top, because they get water down these holes here. Right, with this housing all nicely cleaned up and ready to go, we're now going to put this gasket onto the front. There's 3 bolts. Now I'm not sure if these are the right bolts. They seem very short to me. I don't think they're the right one. I'll have to have a look in the book and see which they are. You can see there, I've only got 3 bolts left. Now there should be M25, they should be M8, so they should be 25 Newton meters. We'll torque them down we'll come back.